moo 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 moo. Is that better? Good. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my cow to English translator so that you guys could understand what I was saying here. You see, I was using it because today I want to tell you about probably, I know I say a lot of books are fun and silly, but this one is absolutely ridiculous. But what that means is you are going to laugh while reading it. Your kids are going to laugh while hearing it. It is called Moo by David Larochelle and illustrated by Mike Winutka. Now, this is a really simple book to read. In fact, you really only need to know how to say 2 words. You can say other words. I would hope you would maybe engage your child in some dialogue while you're reading this book. But really, moo is the first word. If you can say moo, you can read 95% of this book. It is a lot of fun. It is about a cow who sees that the farmer is selling his car. And so Cow decides to take it for a joyride and go zipping down the road. And, well, things don't go great for the cow. But it is really, really funny. And every time that I've gotten the opportunity to read this to a group of kids, everybody ends up laughing. The kids, me, the teachers, and I think you and your family will too. So check out Moo by David Larochelle and Mike Winutka. In the book Moo, Cow had to be pretty brave, or reckless, depending on how you're looking at it, to drive the way that she was driving down the road. And I started thinking about all of the tracks that she would have made all over while she was driving, and it made me think of a really fun art project that I did at several different art programs where we learned about different patterns and textures. Now, grown-ups, this particular craft does involve paint. So if you don't want a messy project, this is not the one for you. But if you watched the last series of videos, we did a couple projects involving paint, and if you did those, hopefully you survived. But this one is really, really fun, and all you're gonna need is just a few supplies. Here's what you need.
When doing an art project, it is always a good idea to cover your workspace with a little bit of newspaper or some other paper to protect your work surface. Not only does this protect your work surface, but it's also handy when it comes time for cleanup. As far as paper we're going to need for this project, you can use regular normal copy paper, but I prefer something thicker like a cardstock when using paint. Speaking of paint, I like to go with tempera. It is easy to clean up and relatively inexpensive, but you can of course always use acrylics if you have those handy. Then we just need something to create the patterns in the paint. Now, since Moo is about a cow that takes a car, I decided to use a variety of toy cars. We've got a motorcycle, a monster truck, and just a little sporty car, and that is what's going to make our patterns. Now, there's no real rhyme or reason as to how to do this next step, but you're just going to take your various colors of paint and put random dots all over your paper. So I'm going to start with orange here, and we're just going to put a few dots on the page. And then you'll notice they're only about the size of about a nickel or so. Then we'll put some green on there. And then let's go ahead and put some pink. And again, no rhyme or reason, just wherever it looks like a good spot to put some paint. And we'll wrap it up with my favorite color, which is blue. And we'll put some blue paint here, a little bit there, and there we go. Okay, once we have our paints on our paper, then it's time to make our patterns. This is where it can get messy, but also this is where a lot of the fun comes in. You are just going to take your cars or whatever toy you're using to make the pattern, and you just make it go through the paint like this. And no real rhyme or reason. It's very, if you want to get art historical on me, it is very abstract expressionist. Look at that, very Pollock and Mark Rothko. And anyway, sorry, nerded out there for a second. But this is all you're going to do is make patterns. And you'll notice how the monster truck actually had some tire tread, and you can see that. Whereas the motorcycle is more of a slick tire, so it's just kind of smearing them along. But the car is making a different pattern altogether. So you can talk with your child about the different patterns it makes, or honestly, you could just have them drive their cars or drag whatever materials you want through the paint to create your patterns.
And just like that, we have our own piece of art. Isn't that cool? Yeah, and so you can do this not just with cars, but you could do this with all kinds of different stuff. You could do different textures of crinkled up paper. You could do bubble wrap. You could do like action figures or little like plastic animals. You could do all kinds of fun things and learn how to make your own patterns to with paint. And it turns out pretty nice. If you do this though, you have to remember to do what all great artists do, and that is make sure that you get a pencil or a marker or something and sign your artwork. You want people to know that you were responsible for making this beautiful piece of art. Now, in each one of these SJPL Sprouts videos, we're going to give you a tip that you can use to grow your child into becoming a lifelong reader. Now, it's nothing too heavy and too preachy and too wordy, just simple things that you can do with your child to help them nurture a love of books and reading. Series of SJPL Sprouts videos, you know that I am a huge fan of just making reading fun. I'm going to say that again because that's how much I believe in this. Make reading fun. Like anything else in life, the second that something becomes a job, it kind of takes the fun out of it for us. And so if we want our child to have a lifelong love of anything, the longer we can keep it fun, the better. And so when it comes time for reading, I want to make sure and stress again in this series of videos the importance of you having fun reading with your child. And what that means for you as a parent is lay your guard down. Be a little silly. It's always floored me the number of adults that for some reason care about looking silly in front of kids, especially their own kids. And if you can't do that, who can you be silly in front of? So when it comes time to sitting down and sharing a book with your child, if there's a funny voice, do a funny voice. And if you're thinking, I don't have any funny voices, do an impression of a celebrity. Does it have to be good? No, because the kid's probably not going to know who you're doing anyway, and it's a different voice than your own, and it'll make the book more special. If there's a song, sing the song. But Will, I don't sing well. So what? The kids don't care. What they care about is that you, someone they love and care about, is taking time and having fun with them. So, do silly voices, sing the songs, make sound effects, have fun with the books and the reading. I can't stress it enough. In fact, with more than just reading, anything that you want your child to have a lifelong love of, have fun as long as possible when you do it.